what's happening is this. Starting next week, the class sizes in person are going to be a little bit bigger, just so you guys know. Because the school has decided, or I should say the school district has decided that, you know, things are going well right now, and then it's actually okay to put the cohort A's together. So what that means now is if you're already coming to school, you get to come to school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we're still going to be in that A-B schedule. You know, Group A will be at school on Tuesdays, or no. Yeah. I'm mixing myself up here. But basically, they're going to be on that A-B schedule, right? So, you know how we had 2 Group A's that were coming on different days? Well, now they both come on those days. So the class sizes are going to get a little bit bigger. You're actually going to be coming to the school, you know, more often now. You're going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that's going to be what's going on. Again, if it turns out that maybe your parents or you aren't comfortable enough with that, we are still going to be doing the online learning as well, so that is an option for you guys. So just know that if your parents or you yourself aren't comfortable with the idea of being in bigger class sizes right now, you are more than welcome. You can stay online, and we'll help you out on the online portion. So that's going to be starting up next Wednesday, so this next week. I'm sure that they're going to be giving out phone calls to your parents and emails to them, so be on the lookout for that. And if you can, you know, just give them a heads up by saying, hey, my teacher talked to us about this today, just to let you know what's going to happen. So that's going on. Another thing is this. Just a quick reminder before I forget to tell you guys this later on. This coming Monday is a holiday, so you guys got a 3-day weekend coming up. So use that time. If you need to get caught up on any assignments in this class or any other classes, that'd be a great time to do it then. You know, get that stuff out of the way. You got a free day to yourself. You don't have anything you have to show up for on Zoom, but you can just get online, get some work done, and then you're going to get yourself nice and caught up. And the good thing about getting caught up is because we've only got like 3 weeks left of school. We only got 3. And next week, you know, we have a 3-day weekend, so it's going to go by really quick. And then after that, we've only got 2 weeks left of school. And here's the deal. With that being said, we're actually going to kind of speed things up just a little bit here, okay? Next week, you guys are going to have a quiz that you got to do. I've been kind of telling you guys about that. We'll have a quick quiz based on the soccer rules and on how to pass and score. So for today's class, we're going to go over those things again with you because I want to make sure that everybody gets them and everybody understands them.
Everybody stands
So, yeah, the holiday is just on the Monday. It's Memorial Day. So you guys are going to have a quiz next week. Also, in addition to that quiz, we're going to start going over the study guide for the soccer final. All right? So we're going to go over the study guide with you guys, and it's really important that you guys work on this study guide because your final is going to be made from the questions on the study guide. So if you guys do your work, you know, you guys get that study guide done, you get those answers on there, and you have it for yourself, you're basically going to have all the questions and answers for the final before you even take it. So it's going to make that so much easier on you. It's going to help you out. It's going to make that final a breeze, right? So, be ready for that. Be ready for that. We're going to be going over that one. We're going to be going over the study guide with you guys in class as well. So, whether you're in person or you're online, we're going to be taking that time and we're going to be talking about the study guide. We're going to go over it, all that good stuff. So that way, again. Alright guys, I guess I'm in a fire drill. So I'm going to mute you guys, and here's what I want you to do. Hopefully you guys can't hear this too much. I want you to go ahead. I want to put this up here for you guys, alright? I know you guys have done this already, but I want you guys to go ahead and do these warm-ups, alright? I'll be right back. I'm putting myself on mute.
So guys, warm-ups. Don't worry, we're gonna do the warm-ups with Coach Mr. Hew-Len and Mr. O'Connell. Be right there. These two names, Mr. Hew-Len, Mr. O'Connell. Just a second.
I'm back, guys. So, looks like you guys are going off in the chat or something here. I don't know what's going on here. I'm actually going to take away the chat for a little bit.
We're back.
So, real quick, sorry about that, guys. We had another. We were doing another fire drill, so that was fun. But thank you guys for chilling out here, waiting for me to get back. I appreciate it. Thank you to those of you that already did the warm-ups as well. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Now that I got you guys back, we're going to go ahead. What we're going to do now is I want to make sure that you guys are all ready for this quiz that is going to be coming up to you guys next week. So remember, this quiz is going to be on the rules and strategies of the game of soccer. I know for those of you that were here in the last class with me, you guys already went over this. But again, I want you to go over it again with me as well, so that way I make sure that you guys are double good on it. And those of you that haven't gotten this one, you know, this is new information for you. What I'd like you guys to do right now is get something to take down some notes with, okay? Whether you're writing out the notes or you're going to type out the notes. Go ahead and get that ready. Simon's already ready. He's got some note-taking material ready to go. Awesome. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes, or I'll give you like a minute if you don't have it right now. Go ahead and get something. And go ahead in the chat. Once you're ready to go, just go ahead and say ready. You just say ready in the chat. Right, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Zakir. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Christopher Azevedo. Anthony, thank you. Zachariah. Thank you. Christopher, thank you for raising your hand. What's up? Should let you.
Coach, I can use my camera to get the notes.
Okay. That works.
I got my camera on.
Alright, nice. Alright, good to know. Alright, here, let me do this. Thank you to Jensen and to as well. Thank you, guys. Alright. Sorry. My throat's been a little dry lately because of my allergies. So, let's go ahead. Let's get started with this. If you guys have, if you need me to at all slow down, or if you have questions, please just let me know, so that way I can go ahead and do that for you. Let me know in the chat, or by using a raised hand reaction. If you use the reaction, that's going to be better, because as of right now, while I'm doing this, I can't necessarily see everybody. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go through this with you guys. It'll be kind of a quick one. And then at the end of class, what we're going to do is, depending on how much time we have, and what we'll do is we'll do a quick skill check, or I'll have Coach do that with you sometime next week. That might be what we do.
Skill check.
So let's go over the basics of the game of soccer. Make sure you guys have your notes. At the very least, I want you to highlight the really important things, okay? Because again, your quiz is going to be made up from this PowerPoint here. So all the stuff you read here, there's a chance it'll be on that PowerPoint. So make sure you guys are taking notes.
PowerPoint.
Let me get my little laser pointer here so that way I can show you where I'm at. Alright. Oh, come on now. There we go. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing about the game of soccer, something that everybody knows, even if you don't play the game, or you've only ever really heard of it just a little bit. The first thing is this. When you are playing the game of soccer, you may never touch the ball with your hands or your forearms. So whatever your forearms, pretty much if you look on my arm here, you guys are looking at my camera, you look at my arm, sleeve on it, I cannot touch with, nor my hands. So you can never touch the soccer ball with your hands. I know you might know this stuff, but again, I just want to make sure that you guys know this. That's, again, just basics of the game. So, first thing is, your hand and forearm may never touch the ball during the game. The only time that you will do that is one, if you are the goalie. The goalie is the only person that can use their hands in the game. And then the only other time that you can use your hand is if the ball rolls out of bounds on the side. Then you get to take the ball and you can throw it back in. So again, that was numbers 1 and 2. Also, just so you guys know, I'm going to type this in the chat, just to give you an example. When you guys are writing out these notes, you don't need to write them out word for word for word for word to actually get the main idea. So if I took that first one, it's kind of a lengthy paragraph. All I would write down if I was taking that in the notes, I would just say this. I would just write it out like this.
Like that.
I would just write out, hands may never touch the soccer ball. So like you see, I just wrote it in the chat. That's pretty much how it summarized that note taking up. Again, this just might help you guys out, so that way you're not spending your whole time just writing. You can actually get some time to listen.
Whole time here.
Now, when you were playing the game of soccer, for each team, you can have 11 players on the field at one time. So make sure you guys know that one. Again, there are 11 players on the field at one time.
11 players in one.
So when I ask you guys this next week, when we ask you on the quiz, how many players on a team, you're going to answer 11. Pretty simple. Soccer matches are played in 2 halves. So, they played in 2 halves, soccer matches are. Each half is 40 minutes in length. Make sure you guys write that down.
Like 2 overtime periods.
So each half is 40 minutes in length. So that means, if I was to ask you how long is a soccer match, you would say it's 80 minutes in length or an hour and 20 minutes, depending on just how you would like to say it. Both are the same amount of time.
Like 90.
Yep. You guys don't have to write the notes in the chat. Just go ahead and write them down for yourself. Thank you, though. Soccer is one of the few sports that also uses what is known as a running clock. So a running clock just basically means that the clock does not stop for pretty much any reason. The clock is always going to keep ticking. So even if there is a foul that occurs, or if there is a player that gets hurt, anything like that, the clock keeps winding down. It doesn't stop unless they have to stop the game for whatever reason. There's no timeouts, nothing like that. Even when they're subbing people in, the clock doesn't stop.
Clock. Doesn't stop the clock.
Giovanni back in. So again, each half is 40 minutes in length. Soccer uses a running clock, so the clock never stops. It just goes all the way. In soccer, if the game is tied at the end of their time, they'll go into overtime periods. Again, if they're tied again, at the end of those overtime periods, they go into what is called a shootout. So, during a shootout, what happens is you pick 5 players from your team, and they're going to go one-on-one against that goalie. And they take turns. So, each team gets to choose 5 players. That means they get 5 attempts to score a goal, one-on-one against the other team's goalie. And depending on whoever scores more in those 5 attempts, they become the winners. If they're still tied up, they just end the game as a tie. Soccer is one of the few sports that will actually end in ties. It's kind of similar to how American football, you can end a game in a tie. You can end it in a tie in baseball. That's another way. That's another sport that does it. I believe hockey can end in ties as well. I'd have to double check that. And off the top of my head, I think those are the only sports I can think of that will end in a tie.
Tie period.
Give you guys a little, like, 1 more minute to write down any of these notes if you need to. I'm trying my best not to talk too fast. I know I sometimes have a tendency to do that, though. So, again, if I ever do start talking too fast, just, like, let me know in the chat. Just say, hey, do you mind slowing down a bit? And I'll be more than happy to.
2 overtime period.
Oh, I actually completely forgot about that. Thank you guys actually for writing that in there. One thing I forgot to mention is the soccer field is about 100 to 120 yards long. Now the reason that it might be different is because of a few reasons. Reason number 1, you might just have a smaller field because the area that you're playing in is smaller in general. So you can only have up to 100 yards. If you're playing like in a designated soccer area, like this place was made to play soccer, then you can have a longer field. They do that especially when you start playing at the higher levels. Like if you watch high school teams or college teams and professional teams, they're more than likely going to be playing on a 120-yard field because they can handle it as athletes. And 2, we can sell more tickets because we have a bigger area, so we can fill more seats up. Soccer is also called football in pretty much every other country except America. Again, America is one of the only places that we really call it soccer. So if you ever are visiting a place like England, Brazil, Germany, anywhere like that, and you don't want to stick out as much as a foreigner, make sure that you call it football. And they spell it F-U-T-B-O-L. That's another way to differentiate it, or notice the differences. Okay. Let me go ahead. I'm going to move on to the next one here. And guys, just as a reminder, you guys don't need to write down the notes into the chat. Just write it down for yourself, like on a Word document, or you can actually handwrite it to yourself, okay? Because I keep checking the chat because I think somebody has a question, but then I just see yours repeating what I see here. Again, unless you guys know something I don't.
Inside.
Let's move on to the next slide, though. Alright, let's talk about some of the rules of the game. First things first, number 1 here. Let's talk about what counts as a goal. This is something that some people don't quite understand as much as they think they do. When you are looking at a soccer goal, if you look at this yellow picture down here, this here is the goal post. This is the inside of the soccer field, or the soccer goal. There is a line on the ground of the soccer goal. That line is what we call the goal line. So, when a ball completely rolls past that goal line, or it gets past the goal line, that is what counts as a goal. The soccer ball doesn't necessarily have to hit the net in order to count as a goal. The net is just there so that way it can stop the ball and you don't have to go running after it after every single goal. So, again, when the entire ball passes over the goal line, that is what counts as a goal. Now, let's say that the ball is rolling and it either stops right on the line, like right on top of that line, or the goalkeeper is able to stop it right on top of that line, then that ball is safe. It's not a goal yet. The entire ball has to get across.
Top of the line. Crossing. Top of the ball.
Going back a little bit, let's say you're taking a shot onto the goal and you kick the ball super hard and it goes a little bit wide to the right or to the left. Depending, when it goes out of bounds, there are 2 things that happen. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit on the slides here. I want you to follow along with my laser pointer, little red dot I got here. So let's say you're playing this game of soccer and the ball rolls out of bounds out the sidelines. When this happens, the other team will go over and they do a throw-in. So this is the only other time that you can actually pick up the soccer ball and you throw the ball back into the field of play. Again, That is when it is on the sidelines. If the ball rolls out on the sidelines, the other team goes over, picks the ball up, and then they throw it in. If the ball goes out of bounds on the baseline sides, it is going to result in a kick of some kind. It is going to result in either what is known as a corner kick or a goal kick. So make sure you guys write that down. Ball rolls out of bounds near goal. It is a goal kick or a corner kick. And the way that you know which one it just depends on which team hit it out of bounds. If it is the offensive team that hits it out of bounds, then the defense goes, picks the ball up, and they do a goal kick. And that goal kick is right from here, right on this little goal box. If it's the other way around, let's say it's the defense that actually hits the ball out of bounds because maybe they blocked it, maybe they kicked it away, and the ball rolled out of bounds, then the offensive team take the ball and they kick it from this corner.
This corner.
So if the ball rolls out down here, they just take it over to this corner. If it rolls out over here, they take it to this corner. And that's how you know that they're good with that. Okay. Give you guys some time to write those down before I start talking about the next thing here.
Yellow card.
Yes, Christopher, you have a question?
I took a picture.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm going to put you back on mute while I talk. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Actually, I clicked again. Let's talk about what are considered fouls in this game, or as they call it, what are considered penalties. So, what are some things that you cannot do when playing the game of soccer? Well, you may never pull on an opponent's shirt. You can't grab their shirt and hold them back. You can't take your arms. You can't hold on to them to stop them from moving. That would be resulting in a penalty. Now, if you are trying to take away the ball from somebody and you tackle them, and when I talk about tackle in this is very important. I'm not talking about the American football kind of tackle where you tackle them to the ground. A tackle is when a player is trying to take the ball from somebody else.
Penalty.
So they will use their feet and get their bodies in front, and they will try and take the ball with using their feet. They'll take the soccer ball, that is. However, if a player is being too rough on a tackle, or they're just kind of like being a little bit unfair about how they do that, maybe they're pushing with their arms, maybe they're holding and they're pushing people away, or they're just blindsiding people, meaning they hit them without them knowing it's coming, that could result in what is known as a yellow card, because it's an unsportsmanlike foul. So a yellow card, when this is given to you by a referee, this is a warning to you.
Referee.
So that's what you guys should write down. A yellow card is a warning by the ref. It means that the ref saw you do something that you shouldn't have been doing, and they're giving you your warning. If they see you doing it again, it's going to be a problem.
That's going to be.
If a player keeps doing it though, even after receiving that warning, and they get another yellow card, that actually upgrades to a red card. A red card is the referee telling you, hey, you got this red card, you're done for the day. You are out of here. You don't get to play anymore. So if a player gets a red card, they have to leave the field at that moment, and they are not allowed to play for the rest of the match. When you are a professional in this sport, if you get a red card, you also have to pay a fine. Sometimes it's upwards of sometimes the fine could be like $50,000 that you got to pay the league. So, they really incentivize you not getting red cards.
They're fine.
And also, it's up to the ref. The referee might decide, maybe you did something that was just way out of line. Maybe you punched somebody. Maybe you got into a fight. Maybe you even just said something that you shouldn't have, and they thought that you were way out of line with that. They could automatically give you a red card and just say, hey, you are way out of line. You got to go. You got to leave. So, So it doesn't always have to be yellow card, then red card. It could be a straight up red card if you do something that is just way out of line. Or if you get 2 yellow cards, you got 2 warnings, that's an automatic red card, and then you as that player, you are out of there.
Red and
So,
yellow.
Dangerous tackles could be kind of like this one here. You see this guy in the yellow, he's about to trip up the guy in the blue. He's not even really making a play for the ball. I know it's hard to tell here, but the ball is like well past him. So he's just making a dangerous play here. He's going to trip over this guy, and then that's going to result in, somebody getting hurt. Give you guys another minute before I move on to the next slide here.
Pair 5, like red and yellow.
I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move on to the next slide here, okay? This is a big one. This one you're really going to want to know because there's going to be questions all about this slide, alright? Make sure that you guys are paying attention. Now, we're going to talk about what positions are in a game of soccer. We have positions like in American football. You got like your quarterback, wide receiver, things of that nature. Let's talk about what they are in the game of soccer.
Nature.
When we are writing these down, I want you to, 1, write out what the name of the position is, and 2, what their responsibility is. I'll make sure to tell you guys them as we go on. First, we have our strikers. Our strikers are going to play really aggressively. What they do as strikers, their main responsibility is this. They are trying to score the goal as many times as they can. They are your main offensive players. They are probably your best players in terms of kicking the ball into the goal and also maybe with their dribbling techniques. So again, let me restate that. Strikers are your main offensive scorers. Make sure you guys write that down, please. Strikers, main offensive scorers.
Offense and score.
I'm actually going to type it in the chat for you guys as well. If we go down here, you see we have these red dots. The first 2 that we come down to from those strikers are known as the attacking midfielders. The great thing about these guys, their name tells you exactly what their responsibility is. So, as attacking midfielders, their responsibilities are help out on offense and protect the midfield. Whoops. So again, they get to actually play in the middle of the field as well, but when they're trying to score, they get to help out their strikers. They get to help them out with passes. They themselves can score as well, and they play a pretty large part of the field. Because again, just as their name suggests, they help out on attack, and they help out in the midfield. So when I say midfield, that means middle of the field. Again, nice thing about them is their name pretty much tells you exactly what they do. So you should all get that right on the quiz when it asks you that. Going down from them, going to these guys here, we have our defensive midfielders. I'm pretty sure if you guys use your brain power, you can kind of guess what they do here. Their main responsibilities as defensive midfielders is help out on defense, make sure the ball does not get past them, and help out with the middle of the field. Again, pretty self-explanatory if you just listen to their name. Now let's talk about these blue dots that I have here. These are what we call our backs. So I want you to write that down. Backs, their main responsibility is defense, defense, defense. They are the defensive powerhouse. Their goal is to make sure that the ball does not get anywhere near the goal.
Powerhouse defensive.
So backs, main responsibility is to play defense and prevent the ball from getting near the goal. As you can see here on this, sometimes we'll label them by just where they stand on the field. So you have your center backs, they stand near the center. You have your left back, they're going to be on the left side. And you have your right back, they're going to be on the right side. The final position that we have here, and you know what? I just need to do one thing because it's going to bother me if I don't do it now. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop the share, I just meant to do this.
Final position.
Back. I just noticed I had goalie spelled wrong. There we go. Okay, now we're good. Then the final position that we just need to talk about is the only one that I haven't put up here. I actually do that as well. But the final position is we have the goalie. Goalie is the only person that can use their hands during the game, and as their name suggests, they protect the goal. Other countries also call it a goalkeeper. That's another way to call them. You can call them goalies, or you can call them goalkeeper. I think goalkeeper is a little bit easier to actually understand, honestly, because it just means they keep the goal safe. Alright, a little checking for understanding here. So, once you guys listen up, I have a question for you guys to answer. Before I ask you the question, I need you to do this for me. What I'm going to do is, I want you to write down your answer into the chat, but don't press enter until I tell you to. Okay? You're going to type your answer to the chat, and then when I say press enter now please, then you will press enter, and what it's going to look like, at least on my end, I'm going to see the little chat bubble, and I'm going to see a bunch of you all enter in your answer at one time, okay? So, here we go. Question to answer is this. The question is, taking a look at this little diagram here of all of the positions, this top half here is our offensive side. This bottom half is our defensive side, right? And remember, there's also one more player that's in the goal box. My question is this. Which side has more help? Is it the offensive side or is it the defensive side? Type your answers in and wait. Wait to press enter. Wait, don't press it yet. Don't press it yet. I want to give you guys time to actually think of it. I'll ask the question again. Looking at these slides here, you got the offensive side and the defensive side. Which side has more help right now? Okay. If you think you have the answer, press enter now, please. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. Alright, so thank you, Michael, Zachariah, Simon, Jensen, Anthony, Azevedo, Christopher, Daniel. Thank you guys for all typing in when I asked you to. Thank you, Zakir. Good. But yes, if you answered defensive side, you are correct there. The defense has more help because look, they got both defensive midfielders, so they got 1, 2, they got 4 backs. So if we add them all up, we have 6 players here. And then remember, you got 1 more player in the goal as the goalie. So you got 7 people on defensive side as opposed to only 4 on the offensive side.
7 people.
That's why you see a lot of soccer games are a really big defensive game. And there's not a lot of high-scoring games. Because more often than not, teams are going to play by loading up on the defensive side. They're going to have a lot more players on defense than they do on offense. That's why games can kind of be, you know, a little low scoring sometimes because you're having to go 4-on-7, right? That's hard to do.
Hard.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for answering that question.
Side.
This is one of our last 2 slides here, okay? And then we're going to be about finished. Let's talk now this. Whoops. Ignore that. Let's talk about this. We're going to talk about what are some other infractions, meaning what are some things that a ref might call you out on. Now with these ones, these might not result in you getting a card, but these are just like little things that can happen that the ref is going to stop the ball and it's going to give it to the other team. The first one, and the one that is, you know, important in the game, is a handball. If a player uses their hand or their forearm to make contact with the ball and to manipulate it in any way, meaning they touch it, the ref is going to blow his whistle, he's going to stop the play, he's going to make that side stop what they're doing, he's going to give it to the other team, and that other team gets what is known as a free kick. So you watch this guy here in the black and white. You can see he does it on purpose. Yeah, he means to do this. But he reaches down, touches the ball with his hand, and he tries to like get away with it. But the ref saw him do that, and you don't see it in the little GIF here, but he stops the play, he gives it to the other team, and the other team gets a free kick from the spot of where that happened. And if we look at the bottom right here with this man in the red here jumping over the guys in the black and white, it doesn't have to be on purpose. Even if you accidentally hit the ball with your hand at any point, the ref is still going to call that. This one here, this man in the red, he was trying to jump up to head the ball, but he kind of accidentally landed on somebody, so he's putting his hands up to start breaking his fall. But when he does that, the ball actually does hit his hand, so it still means that the other team gets the ball. If you're playing a game and you accidentally push somebody or you're accidentally tripping, that is going to result in a free kick. Now again, if it's just an accident and the ref can kind of tell that, then it won't exactly result in a card, but it's a pretty fine line here. And again, it's really up to the ref. So you got to be careful with these things. So make sure you're not going to accidentally trip somebody, you're not actually going to push somebody over, because that might end up in the other team getting the soccer ball. And anytime a penalty or an infraction like this occurs, wherever it happens, that's where the ball is placed, and that's where the free kick is done from.
I was done. As done as possible.
Right. Any questions before I move on? I know this slide was a little bit short, so.
Moving on, so.
Hold on. Let me check the chat. Oh, I keep doing that. Final slide here, guys. This last one. I just have some quick questions I would like to answer. Same thing as I did before. I'm actually going to do this so that way you guys can't read ahead. Same thing as before. I'm going to ask you the question. I want you to type your answer into the chat, and then wait for me to tell you when to press enter, okay? This is going to be how I can tell who's paying attention and who's listening. So, question number 1. Question number 1. If a referee gives you a yellow card, what does that mean? What does it mean if you get a yellow card? Thank you guys for waiting. If you guys think you have the answer, please press enter now. Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony Jensen. Anthony. I got 2 Anthonys. Oh, interconnection unstable. Give me a sec. I think I'm good. All right. Thank you, too, Zachariah. George, Anthony, Giovanni, and thank you guys for all taking a chance at that. So, a yellow card is a warning to you by the ref, meaning you did something that was out of line and that they're watching you and don't do it again. You know, it's basically like how in our class, if you guys do something you shouldn't, we're going to give you that warning, right? Now, let's say you keep doing it, even after we have warned you or a referee has warned you in a game. He's then going to give you a red card. So, question number 2. What happens when a player gets a red card? What happens to that player? You're close, Jensen. You're close, Simon. I think you just... I think you're on the right track. You got it. All right, if you guys have an answer, go ahead and press enter. So yes, if you guys get a red card during the same game of soccer, it doesn't matter when it happens in the game. You can get a red card in the first 5 minutes if you do something that bad. But if you get a red card, you're done. That's it. You're out of the game. Bye-bye. Go watch it from home. So, red cards mean that you're done. You had your warning, you're out of there. So again, it doesn't mean, like I said, it doesn't matter when it happens. It could be in the first 5 minutes. Maybe in the first 5 minutes, somebody gets into a fight with the other player and they actually start throwing punches. Ref could red card them both, and then they're just done for the day. They gotta get subbed out, and sometimes they're not even allowed to be on the field. They have to like actually go home. Like the ref will tell them like, no, get out of here. I don't want to see your face anymore. So, don't ever get a red card. Okay? You guys are better than that.
In this station.
You're not going to be... I know you get heated during games sometimes. Maybe you get a little aggressive. But again, I never want to hear about any of you guys getting that crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. And also, if you guys are professionals and you're playing this, if you get a red card and you're a professional, they make you pay a fine. And the fine, I think, the minimum might be like $15,000 that you have to pay. So think about that. That's another reason not to get red cards, right? I don't know about you guys. I don't got like $15,000 just like, oh yeah, here you go. I'd be like, I need this. I need all this. Alright guys, last thing here, okay? I want you guys to really review over this PowerPoint. You guys have this on your Google Classroom. So review it. And also, make sure that you guys look over those positions and look at what their main responsibilities are. Next time we see you guys isn't going to be until Tuesday. Remember, you guys have Monday off, so use that wisely. If you guys need to make up work, that's a great day to do it. You got Monday off. We'll see you on Tuesday. We're going to have a quiz on this stuff, and we're going to start working on the study guide.
Study guide.
So, yes, correct. Alright guys, if you guys don't have any questions, you guys did a fantastic job today. Thank you guys for sticking with me, even during that fire drill. I really appreciate it. You guys are good. Have yourselves a good one. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Peace. Alright, let me get this. I gotta get ready for my next class. This and this. I'll bring this in here so I can start charging it for Coach.
Coming to you on Hew-Len. Coach Hew-Len.
Basically, but the school basically said, hey, you know what, we're good. Let's go ahead, we're going to combine homework if you're going to do it. They say they're combining homework and A/B. What that just means, we're still on the A/B days, but now instead of, how like we have two groups of group A, they come separate days, now they just come both days. Oh, okay. So there's still A/B scheduled, but now the kids will be here 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday. So yeah, classes are bigger. This class won't be that much bigger because it's still, I don't have a period this time. Yeah. But I mean, like, they crunch the numbers for us, like, on the class. Like, we might have one class here that's going to be like 40, 42 kids at once. So they're going to be going to school next week. On Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday. Right now, it starts on Wednesday, right? That's the weird part. It doesn't start next Wednesday, so yeah. Well, and also, it's like, it's one of those things, like, I get it, like, the district's like, letting us do it, and it does kind of make some things easier for us, but it's like, okay, so we do it that week. Like, one more week. And then it's the final week. Yeah, school's around next week. Starting years in Fridays. Yeah, 3 Fridays. That was the other thing. They didn't tell us about that until a while ago, so we're like, do you have access to water anywhere, you know? No. The only thing I can do for you is I got my own water here if you want to waterfall it, but yeah. So that's, yeah. Make sure you guys bring your own water when you're coming to school. It's nothing. A little bit of water goes a long way. I didn't get the skill check, but I'm going to over it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because I'm okay. Next week. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Well, change is together. Yeah. Have a good one. That's going to be the other thing too. It's like, if you have that many kids, like, really need them to make sure you bring their own clothes. Yeah. We're already having this long time with some of the kids when it's a small group. Yeah. Alright, you guys are done. You guys can go to your next class, please. Next class. See ya.